Shalom Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Kakadash, double honor to the apostles, and all the great millstone for teaching us his truth, peace, and blessings to the hopeful elect of Israel. Shalom. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father, and tribute by Hashem is the name, and Yahushai is the name of the unbegotten Son. Back in our lesson, and today going to go into these wars and rumors of wars that we are seeing, especially dealing with the situation right here with Russia deploying an ICBM, which I have two quick articles I do want to dive into, as well as get two quick videos to go along with the lesson, and Lord's will be able to find quick to the point. So we'll read a little bit of this, and we'll get these other videos out the way, and get that other article and get those scriptures. So let's continue on. Now, so Russia deploys ICBM, and if you don't know what ICBM means, it's going to the intercontinental ballistic missile. Now, this is that Putin says will make enemies think twice. So you're seeing these tensions continuing to arise between the nations, which Yahweh is ultimately the one stirring that pot between the nations in order to reach that breaking point, which is going to be World War III, or aka Armageddon. Now, this is Moscow AP, the head of Russia's Roscosmos, if I said that correctly, space agency, said Friday that the country has deployed an advanced intercontinental ballistic missile that President Vladimir Putin once said will make Russia's enemies think twice, which I believe they named the missile, Satan II. So a very befitting name, for these missiles, man, for Esau Edom. So agency head Yuri Borisov said Sarmat's missiles have been placed on combat duty according to Russian news agencies. Further details were not reported. I'll read these last three paragraphs and we'll get those videos. Now, the Sarmat is one of several advanced weapons whose development Putin announced in 2018. The silo-based missile capable of carrying multiple nuclear warheads, which I believe the one they're using now has over, I believe, 10 plus nuclear warheads. But now it says is intended to replace the R-36 ICBMs that are known by the NATO reporting name of Satan. So that's what I was speaking of right there. Now, the Sarmat reportedly has a short initial launch phase, allowing little time for surveillance system to track it. In 2022, about 2 months after sending troops into Ukraine, Putin said that Sarmat would reliably ensure the security of Russia from external threats and make those who, in the heat of aggressive rhetoric, try to threaten our country think twice. Now let's get these videos.
Oh, we might be cooked. Someone please tell me, is this man?
And you're also seeing how shook and afraid a lot of people are starting to get. That's why having this knowledge and understanding of the truth, going back to Isaiah 33:6, keeps us stable, man, because we know what's going on. And the people of this world don't.
And Putin just trying to get rid of the whole world at this point. So
also why we are warning you.
Putin has a missile or nuclear missile called Satan II, right? So do you know what's so special about Satan II? Satan II contains 10 to 15 nuclear warheads in it. Ballistic missiles that for some reason he has put them on combat duty and is waiting for the chance to fire them, and can be sent to anywhere around the world. I'm starting to believe them.
In those scriptures that come to mind, how the arrows should be shot from one end of the earth to the whole other side. So what regular bow and arrow can do that, which we're going to get those scriptures, after these videos and this article. So continue on.
Rumors about Putin may having like a life-threatening disease is true. Because what's stopping this man from, hey, since I'm about to go away anyways, I might as well go out with a bang.
Prophecy. That's what's, because there are things that need to be fulfilled and play out before World War III is fully kicked off. Dealing with the RFID hip still need to be mandated and pushed out. So things still need to happen before, World War III is fully kicked off.
Half the time this man is bluffing and I don't be believing him, bro. But I don't care if he bluffing or not, bro. That's a crazy bluff. That's a crazy bluff. I don't trust nothing that's called Satan II, bro. Satan II? Jesus, Lord. Just don't send it to Florida, bro. Please don't send it to Florida, bro.
See what these comments have to say. Let's see. All right, GG, guys. Which means, good game. Now, so anything with that name is insane. Let's see. And you see, people ultimately, for lack of better words, coping, making this out to be a joke and, pretty much trying to make it a light matter. We see a lot of people doing this. That's why you see them creating memes. Even on Twitter at times, you'll see World War III, start to trend, and you see people posting memes. Oh, it's happening again. Just another day. And these people are through, man. But let's get to the other video and we'll get the last article and get those scriptures.
Well, it was nice knowing y'all, because Russia has now deployed a nuclear missile. According to the New York Post, the head of the Russian Space Agency said that they put their ballistic missile, which apparently can deploy 10 or more nuclear warheads to any location in the world, that has been put on combat duty, according to the New York Post. And a Russian military analyst said that this announcement meant that the missile was deployed in a silo and ready to be used at any moment. Now, the article does also say that the readiest might just be on paper, but they do not know for sure. And we have no idea what combat duty actually means, nor do we know how many they deployed or where. So we really don't know anything except for the fact that Russia seems ready to end the fucking world. And with all the reports about Putin potentially being in very poor health, this is pretty scary, because if he's in very poor health holding all that power, he really might not give a fuck about the rest of the world.
So hey, tensions are building, man, and see a lot of people are freaking out. I mean, look at this, and football season just started. This is the type of shit that people care about, man. So I've been hearing this since 2018. I guess you're going to continue to hear it until it happens. But let's get this other article, and then we'll get the scriptures out the way. Now, as Russia puts nuclear-capable super weapon Satan II missiles on combat duty. Like I said, a very befitting name. Now let's continue on. So Russia announced Friday it had to put its nuclear-capable Satan II intercontinental ballistic missile on combat duty for the first time. See a little bit more. Now, the missile, also known as Sarmat and classified as a super weapon by Russia, was introduced in 2018 and it had been scheduled to be deployed for combat duty at the end of 2022. The Sarmat strategic complex has been put on combat duty. Yuri Borisov, the head of Russian Space Agency Roscosmos, said in the media appearance organized by Russia Knowledge Society, the state news service TASS reported the Sarmat or Satan II missile will replace the aging Soviet-era Voyvoda intercontinental ballistic missile known by the NATO designation SS-18 Satan, which has been in Russia's arsenal since 1988. So he's been seeing this brewing. But let's kick it off with Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 9, because America is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear missiles. People always like to say we're conspiracy theorists, we're crazy, that's not going to happen, this and that. It's coming, and it will happen, man. And as you know, Yahweh Shai is not a liar, it's written. As for lo, I'll raise and cause to come up against Babylon, an assembly of great nation, who's Babylon, America, from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against terrorists, and have these nations come up against America, Babylon. As you already seen with the BRICS, pretty much going to tear down its economy. As if from thence she shall be taken their arrows, and this is what I'm speaking of right here, their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man, none shall return in vain. Those arrows being those thermonuclear missiles, because no regular bow and arrow can be shot from one place on the earth onto the whole other side, which we'll get right here. Excuse me. Now the second Ezra 16:13, that says, for strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss. As we also read right there, how the arrows shall be as of a mighty expert men, none shall return in vain. So all these missiles are going to hit its mark. Once they're launched, they're not going to just randomly explode in the air. They're not going to knock into each other, blow up out of nowhere. Everything's going to hit its mark, because guess what? Yahweh Hashem Shai is going to be one direction it. For the strongest right hand that burneth the bow, his arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss. Main point right here, when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. What regular bow and arrow can do that? None. So showing you, speaking of something completely different. But let's go back to Jeremiah chapter 50, because there are other verses I do want to get. I think around the 24th verse, which we get right here, is, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou wast not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against Yahweh by Shemel Shai. Verse 25, Yahweh had opened his armory and had brought forth the weapons of his indignation. What do you think this armory is speaking of, man? Now see, Yahweh by Shemel Shai had opened his armory. Come on. and had brought forth the weapons of his indignation, which we get in Isaiah 34. For this is the work of the Lord, power of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. And that's pretty much all we need right there. Actually, see what else we get. We get verse 26, and we'll continue on. As they come against her from the utmost border, open her storehouses, cast her up as heaps, and destroy her utterly. Let nothing of her be left. And America is going to be, completely wiped out. Presume at Isaiah 13, how this place will never be inhabited again. Now, Isaiah 34. As they come near ye nations, do hear and hearken ye people, let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all the things that come forth of it. So, hey, open your ears, man. Verse 2, for the indignation of Yahweh shines upon all nations, especially upon the wicked of our people, man. Presume at Zechariah 13:8. That's why Skip's also mentioned to go into how judgment must start at the house of the Most High. As for the indignation of Yahweh shines upon all nations, and is free upon all their armies, he had utterly destroyed them, he had delivered them to the slaughter. Now, this is verse 3. Their slain shall also be cast out, and their stink shall come out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. So it's going to go to show how great this judgment is going to be, man. You're about to see a ton of death. Verse 4. And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. And the heavens being rolled together as a scroll, speaking of the mushroom cloud, which you see being formed from explosions, even in cartoons. So you see. And all the other hosts shall fall down as a leaf falls off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. Verse 5, main point. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. What's that sword speaking of? Going into those thermonuclear missiles which are going to come down from the sky or from heaven. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, another word for Esau, Edom, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. So as I mentioned earlier, Zechariah 13, Zechariah 13:8, going to the 2/3 of our wicked people are going to be cut off. How it should be 2/3 therein should be cut off and die, and the third should be left therein. The Lord's only deliver his elect, man. Now read verse 6 to shut that down. The sword of Yahweh Shai filled with blood is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of kidneys of rams. For the Yahweh Shai they sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. And what would they do with that fat? They would throw it into the fire. But this is going to be thermonuclear fire, man. Now let's get a couple more scriptures, and that'll be a lesson. Now it's Revelations 11-14. Another great scripture right here. Now it's the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe comes quickly. Now what is that second woe being past speaking of? Going to World War II. Now it says, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly, as you've been seeing the tensions that have been continuing to arise between the nations for years now, which is the orchestration of Yahweh Shai in order to reach, that breaking point, that boiling point, per se. What's going to be World War III. So we're seeing the constant conflict between Ukraine, Russia, especially, dealing with the U.S. The threats that have been going out. Russia, I believe, came out and said one time, they could wipe out America with 2 or 3 missiles. These are not just some simple threats that you go out and make, man. Especially America, seeing how they'll defend every inch of NATO territory, every inch. Basically, saying that to Russia to, hey, chill out, back up, So tensions are high, man, especially North Korea. Doing all these different missile testing, which you've seen last year. And I believe they also did a little bit more in the beginning of this year. Revelation 11:14 one more time. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. So it's coming fast, man. And y'all want to call it conspiracy theories, call it crazy, and all these different things that you were warned, man. Matthew 24:2, which I made a lesson a couple weeks ago going into that. How these jokes won't be so funny. Because very soon it's going to become a real thing. They're pretty much going to these pranks that were being made against, certain family members or friends, of a nuclear warning attack. And you see how afraid and shook they get. But very soon it's not going to be a joke, man. Matthew 24:3-8. Now, this is, as he sat upon the mount, all the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us when shall these things be, and what shall be signs thy coming of the end of the world? Now, so list those signs that we would see take place before Yahweh Shai would return. And what says the end of the world? Not speaking of the whole end of the entire earth, you know, but it's going to the end of an age, the end of an era, the end of Esau Edom's rule. Verse 4, and Yahushua answered and said to them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come my name, saying, I'm anointed, and shall deceive many. So you be careful and wary of who you are listening to and who your true teachers are. A lot of these guys have sold out and took the back, man, and are trying to keep you here. You know? That's why you got to be careful. That's why you go into book of Malachi, I think 3 and 18. Discern between who serveth the Most High and who serveth them not. A lot of these guys are of the world, man. Verse 6, and you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. The main point. Read one more time. And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars that we're seeing now. The constant threats that are being made, the conflicts that are going out. All these things that are happening is through the spirit power of Yahweh Shema Shai in order to reach this point. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. There are still things that need to happen and be fulfilled before World War III is fully kicked off. So when people see Russia making these threats and deploying an ICBM, you see how shook and afraid that they get. But we have this knowledge, this understanding of this truth, going to Isaiah 33 and 6. So we know what's going on, why these things are happening, and what's to come, and what still needs to happen. Verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places, which you are seeing now. Famines being especially dealing with the famine of the word. Now, and pestilences, seeing these plagues, these pestilences that the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, is raining upon this place. Earthquakes everywhere. And look at that big earthquake that took place over there in Turkey and Syria. Took nearly 60,000 people out, man. Verse 8, all these are the beginning of sorrows. We're just in the beginning of this, man. Now we're going to shut this down with the last three scriptures. This is Joel 3 and 9 through 13. Excuse me. Now it said, proclaim ye among the Gentiles, prepare war with the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Verse 10, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Going into these farming tools being created to or turned to weapons of war. As the weak say, I am strong. Now, these nations are starting to stand up against Babylon, against America. Because you're especially seeing Babylon, aka America, losing its power. As assemble yourselves and come all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. So we're seeing a lot of these nations starting to really turn against her. As assemble yourselves and come all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause that mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Now people are starting to really choose their sides. Verse 12, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe, ready for the picking. Come get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for the wickedness is great. So Yahweh Shema Shai is getting ready to destroy his place. As you see, he is building that tension between those nations, and now he's starting to prepare for war. Russia, China, North Korea, all these different nations that you are seeing. Now, 2 Peter 3 and 10. There we go. Now, this is the King James. As the day of the Lord comes a thief in the night, unexpected to those that are not watching and paying attention to the times that we are in. And how we do that? By the way of these signs, and these prophecies presented the second Ezra 9 and 1. Measuring out the time judgment in itself. But the day of the Lord comes a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with great noise, which are going to those explosions, coming from those missiles. And the element shall melt with fervent heat. Now, what type of, thing can emit that type of heat in order to burn these different elements, especially people, man? Those are the scripture going to how people are going to be consumed away standing upon their feet. How their eyes and their tongue is going to be consumed away, while they're standing in their mouth. Shall pass with great noise, and the element shall melt with fervent heat. There also, and the works therein shall be burned up. Going to show how severe and heavy this is really going to be, man. And you do not want to be part of that number that's left behind and that's caught up in this judgment that the Lord's going to bring. There's Isaiah 95, and we should have done with this right here. It says, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. And I always like to use the movie as an example, as a time frame, dealing with the movie 300, dealing with the clashing of shields and swords. But this is going to show you that this is going to be completely different. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Now, what is that speaking of right there, man? That should be crystal clear. Read it one more time. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Did we not just read also in Jeremiah chapter 50? I think around the 25th verse, or not, if not the 26th. Going into the Lord opening his armory pretty much upon this place. So it should be clear by now the times that we are in, and especially with that speaking of right there and the destruction that's to come. And we want you to Spirit Prayer Yahweh Shemashah to repent and to get right before it's too late, because very soon Yahweh Shemashah is getting ready to take away this word. He's going to shut the mouths of his prophets. Remove them off the highways and hedges. Shut down this internet, however it may be. Very soon the Lord's getting ready to take it away, man. So obtain this truth while it's still hot. So pretty much the main point of the lesson already. I came across those 2 videos and saw a few brothers also touching on it. I was going to make a lesson going to it myself, and the Lord's will, it was edifying and to the point. And Yahweh Shemashah is getting ready to destroy this place, and especially showing us the times that we are in, man. So seek the Lord before it's too late. I do want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Kakadash, the bonds of the apostles and elders of great millstone for teaching us this truth, peace, and blessings to the hopeful elect of Israel. And Shalom. See you next one, Lord willing.